The question I have for you and our audience is what to say to a friend when you go to the stage door and their show was terrible.
From the winds.
Hi, I'm Reba Hervis, Artistic Director at Overshadowed Theatrical Productions. Welcome to this week's episode, From the Wings. Some of you may remember a few weeks back we had our intern, Emily Wilson, and she is going to join us again this week.
Yes.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's such a great time.
I figure there's three different options.
Okay.
So number one, you can lie to them. Right?
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
You can just say, that was fabulous. I loved every second of it. Number two, you can find something that you really liked about it. So kind of go around the back door and be more like, oh, that lighting was incredible.
That one light, the blue one,
yes,
so good.
It was amazing. Or then you could also tell them the truth. And that would be kind of like tough love, right?
Okay,
oh, yeah, I'm sorry. That was not very good.
So I feel like you can kind of have all of them together.
Ooh,
So
a choice number 4.
yes, choice number 4, all of the above. So the first one I was thinking you can replace the word lie with with acting opportunity, right? So like you could go up to them and be like, you know what? It was so good. Like, you're not lying, but you could be yourself and be the actor that you know that you are.
Wait. How is that not a lie?
No. Is acting lying? No, but I wasn't being actually serious. Don't do that. I don't think that lying is the best thing to do, especially if they're seeking, like, honest feedback. I think there's a way that you can kind of give honest feedback in a loving manner, but I feel like people always want the truth, and sometimes the truth is hard to hear, but I mean, I don't think it's ever good to lie. You probably should not choose choice number 4 for reality.
Okay.
What was the second option?
The second option was to find something good to say about the show where you don't really... you're not really honest about the show or about their performance. Maybe the show is great, but their performance wasn't good. Or maybe they were great, but the show wasn't good,
Well, in the case of that, if they were great and the show wasn't great, be like, you did so well. Then pick out the points where you're like, this stood out to me the most, and this is why it was so good. And you could even, be honest and be like, to be honest, you stood out. Yeah. Amongst everybody else because you did so
you were
good.
What I enjoyed so much about this show.
And then when it comes to them being bad and the show being good, you could just say the show was so good. You don't necessarily have to go into detail.
I loved the stage floor. That was so interesting. The way it was painted all black.
Amazing.
Is there any comments that you could give people? I feel like it's the same. It's not the same thing, but sometimes you just don't know what to say. As a friend. So I do think that there are things that you can say if you believe them. You can say, I am so proud of you.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really, if you really are proud of what they did, it doesn't mean that you can't say it though in a way that's not going to.
Really.
Yeah. It's not going to ring, right?
Yeah.
Truth.
Yeah.
So, so do you think then, as a Christian, that well, the God card. So, we did play around with that fourth one a little bit to pretend to be somebody else. So, would it ever be all right to just plain lie to them?
I feel like no matter what our answer is, we're gonna be persecuted either way.
Yes. It'll be really interesting to see what you guys think about a conversation like this. I think I always try to, I probably take the second one. I try to, unless somebody really forces me into telling them the truth, because they know that I'm kind of hedging or that it really matters to them what I think for some reason, I really don't like to tough love it out.
Yeah.
I really don't. I feel like as an actress and even as a director, these things are your baby. You have spent a lot of months with this character and worked to make it show ready and something really special. And if you anybody comes up to you and says, wow, you worked really hard, but that really fell flat. It's just never something I'm going to want to hear.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that I really have a hard time with when somebody auditions and then they come back to me for feedback.
Yes.
I feel like sometimes they don't really want it because most of the time it doesn't make them feel better no matter what the answer is.
Yeah.
Whether they were really close to getting the part but didn't because the other person just was a tad bit better. Does that make you feel good? Because it makes you feel kind of like, well,
you were so
didn't
close,
give me
what
a
was
chance.
I?
You didn't give me a chance. I could have done as good as that, right?
It's a big ego, like, tear down.
Yeah.
Because, like, this person, like, what does this person have that I don't?
Yeah.
And it's almost like it gets into your mind. But I feel like those things, we shouldn't let it fester and we shouldn't let it get to us. We should use it as, like, a stepping stone. Be like, okay, this is a step, and then next direction, this is what I need to do better.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, like, if they're honestly wanting honest feedback, and if you know that they're not going to get, like, offended by anything that you say, obviously you should say it in a loving manner, and you shouldn't just be like, yeah, you didn't do well at all, like, here's what I would have done better. But, like, approaching it in, like, a loving manner and being like, this is what the character needed, and you didn't quite get there, but, like, instead of telling where they're lacking, maybe, like, encourage them with advice instead of being, like, for sure showing their flaws, be like, okay, it could be better in this area, I guess, if that makes sense. I feel like...
Yeah. If you feel like they will take it, like we're not trying to be cruel.
Right. You have to read the room. Yeah.
And sometimes it's really hard because, again, we're just talking about the fact that these things are our baby and for you to really lay yourself out on the line, whether you're directing or whether you're acting or whether you're even auditioning. It's hard to stand up in front of 3 people who are staring at you, looking for you to make a mistake. I mean, that's what you feel, right? Whereas I think most of us try to tell people, no, we want you to succeed. We want you to be the person that we are looking for. So when we're looking at you, we're analyzing you to see if you can be that person. So please show us that you can be. But no matter what way you look at it, if they don't get what they want, they feel like they failed, right? And the one thing that I always try to tell people is, like, don't feel like you failed, but feel like you be proud of yourself that you did it, learn from it, and know that this just wasn't the thing for you right now. Like, God may have something else that you're going to get because you didn't do this, or there might be something going on in your life that you needed to take a break and you didn't even realize it. But that's really hard still because you're ripping your soul open to do things. But anyway. I
think that any experience is, like, it depends on the way that you look at it. Yeah, any experience is good experience. Yeah. Like, even if it's like a quote-unquote bad experience, like, you could use that to grow into a better person. So if you didn't get the part that you want, you can use that to grow into a better actor. And if you do email the director and be like, hey, what can I do differently? Like, even though that part, maybe it was even the part, like the part wasn't your fit, but maybe you could have gone on and done a different part. It's not necessarily all that you think it is. And getting that advice from other people is good, as long as you are open to honesty and, like, wanting to receive it in a different way than getting hurt by it. Yeah. Which that's the biggest thing.
One of the things that they tell you in sales all the time is, like, when you get a no, don't be hurt by it, because every no you get is closer to a yes. And I think it's the same thing when auditioning. Yeah. It's like, just realize it's part of the process. And every time you audition, you get better and you're that much closer to getting that part that you really want. Yeah. So, but to do that, we can't lie to them.
No, we cannot.
We can't, because then we're not helping anybody.
Yeah.
Until next time, this is just me.
And me.
Talking to you.
From the wings.
From the winds.
You think you're...
Okay. Ooh. Not to take a swig.